I just want to start off by saying this is probably the most negative review I've done. Welcome back to Midnight Society. It's your boy, the Movie Nerd, here with the review for Gemini Man. Most people have heard about the hype for Gemini Man, starring Will Smith, Clive Owen, and Mary Elizabeth Winstead. Pretty much this movie has Will Smith, his older self, versus Will Smith, his younger self. When I first saw this trailer, I was ecstatic. I was like, finally, a Will Smith movie that seemed like it's gonna be good, some good action, good plot line, good story, and something that hasn't really been done before. What's weird is the CGI they show you in the trailer doesn't look bad, but when you go see it in theaters, if you see it in theaters, it doesn't equal up to what you saw in that trailer. I wanted to like this movie. I really wanted to like this movie. I've been rooting for Will Smith. I want to win from Will Smith, man. And when I saw this, I thought this was going to be that win. And sad to say, it wasn't. The beginning of this movie is pretty good. You see Will Smith doing his thing as an agent or a hitman for the DIA, Defense Intelligence Agency. He actually lands a shot on a moving train like 2 kilometers away, and they executed that one pretty well. It's a good intro for the movie. And the whole plot of the movie is pretty much him not enjoying or not feeling right doing what he's been doing his whole life. He's gonna retire, and then he's the best one that they have. So guess what they do? They send in a clone. And that's the entire plot of the movie. You see in the trailer. You know he cloned him. You know what it's about. It's like they gave the entire movie in the trailer. So if you saw the trailer and you didn't like it, you probably don't want to watch this movie, or you're not probably going to watch this movie. Obviously, there's a big difference from just altering somebody's face and making them look younger than doing a complete CGI of somebody. In this film, they did a complete CGI to make him look younger. So in all actuality, they didn't make him look younger. They just actually had a computer-generated version of a younger Will Smith. And it's bad, considering that the whole hype for this movie is about an older Will Smith versus a younger Will Smith, and everybody just kind of want to see that younger Will Smith. They probably got that nostalgia from the Fresh Prince when they were seeing it. It's not going to touch you in the way where it's nostalgic, brings back memories of West Philadelphia, born and raised. It's going to touch you in the way that Law & Order SVU is going to come and have to talk to you. Shout out to Mary Elizabeth Winstead. I think for what she was given, she did an incredible role, and she kind of held this film up, because without her, and it was just Will Smith and the CGI Will Smith, it would have been even worse than what it was. However, when you get the CGI Smith and the real Smith, that's what I'm going to call him for the rest of this review. But when they initially came together in the first action scene, it was actually enjoyable. I liked it. And there's another scene where they kind of go in depth and kind of go to his background where he's like, hey, I know you. And he goes into the whole spiel of how he knows the CGI Smith because he's the real Smith and everything that he feels. I thought that kind of hit pretty well. It hit where it's kind of going for it, but it wasn't the bullseye, but it was close enough. However, outside of that, story, plot, completely out the window. There's characters in the movie that die that you thought were going to be important, but I guess they weren't. The movie ended so abruptly that I didn't even know I was at the end of the movie until it was the end of the movie. And I'm not talking about like right before the credits ended the movie. I'm talking about the climax of the movie where you don't know it's the climax. You feel like there's going to be some more coming. Oh no, it's not. When you think something's about to happen in the movie, it's probably going to happen. There's really no mystery, no intrigue into this, because you pretty much know what's going on, like I said, from the trailer. And if you didn't know from the trailer, you could probably figure it out within 2.5 seconds of watching the film. And I feel so bad saying all this stuff because I wanted to like this movie. I started to like the movie in the beginning and it just kind of went away. And then they had a twist in it, which really wasn't a twist because you saw it coming, and I was hoping there's going to be something different. No, it's exactly what you thought it was. And at that point, you're like, you couldn't think of something better than that? Oh man, I really don't think there's a lot of positive I can say about this movie. And like I said, it sucks because I want to say something positive about this movie. I guess that's just what it is. That's what this movie is. They had names like Zacharuski. Somebody wrote a script and they're like, hey, I'm going to title this character and call her Zacharuski. That is this movie. This movie that had a budget of, actually, let me pull out my phone. The film had a budget of $138 million, and that's what we got. There's a scene where CGI Smith's riding the bike. Oh no, actually, it was real Smith. That's how bad the CGI and what happens in this movie is. I can't even remember. It was real Smith on the bike, and you can literally see his stunt double. You know it's a stunt double. Like the guy turns his face just a little bit, and you're like, yeah, that's not Will Smith. Like, bruh, it's a $138 million budget movie, and you couldn't edit better than that. I guess I can't talk because I'm not some big film editor, but I feel like you get paid well enough to kind of keep that stuff out of the movie. And while I was looking at the budget, Mary Elizabeth Winstead, her name in the movie is Danny Zacharewski. Not Danielle, they didn't even say that, they literally Danny Zacharewski. Like it was meant, like this role was meant for a guy, but they're like, hey, we're gonna get her, which is not gonna change the name at all. And one more thing before I dead this movie, I got one more pet peeve that happened. There's another scene in this movie where Zacharewski and Will Smith are running away and they hide behind this wall and they got like a full-fledged dude in armor and a tank, the whole mask and everything, and he sees them, they do this weird zoom in, which was like, really, that was cheesy as hell. But besides the fact, he has a turret, starts firing, he sees them like over a window. So say like this is like the banister or whatever, and there's a window's like broken down because they jumped through the window. They're hiding behind this wall. They peep up, they look at him, they zooms in on the guy, he starts shooting. What do you think he shoots at? You think like if you had a full turret gun, where would you shoot? Not right above here when they dug down, right? You'd be like, it's a wall. The bullets could go through. Nope, he shoots up here. Enough time for them to crawl away and he doesn't shoot at the floor, nobody gets hit. That's all I gotta say about this movie. That sums this movie up as a whole, as how stupid it is. I'm sorry, Will, if you ever see this, which you probably won't. I'm rooting for you. I want a great movie from you. This just wasn't it. And I mean, who am I but just some lonely fan? So all in all, Gemini Man, I say it's definitely worth waiting until it comes out on streaming services like Netflix, Amazon, or Hulu. Man, I feel bad doing this movie review. So Gemini Man, if you watch it, let me know what you think. If you plan on watching it, or if you don't plan on watching it. And as always, if you like what you see here, like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, this is submitted for the approval of the Midnight Society.